The Las Vegas Raiders have had a really good offseason. They did a good job of bringing in needs and mitigating losses in free agency and combined it with a good draft. Don't give too much credit to minority owner Tom Brady, though. He deserves credit for hiring head coach Pete Carroll and GM John Spytek, but they're the ones who built the roster. They brought the free agents in and made the picks. Brady wasn't even in the war room. The way you can really tell Carroll and Spytek, and mainly Carroll, built this roster is how much the players they've added resemble players they've had in the past. They've won Super Bowls with these types of players. They're not experimenting with them. They're doing this the way they know how to and did a good job of adding players to what they already had to make the roster what it is now, which is pretty good. We start with the quarterbacks, and the Raiders got Carroll's guy, Gino Smith, in free agency, and they signed him to an extension. They didn't try to see if they can trade up in the draft after what happened last year. Smith's the most accurate quarterback in the NFL over the last 3 years. Throws a great deep ball and he can run. He can manage the game and get you into the right play, and he's a good ball handler and play action. That's why he's won the 6th most games of any quarterback the last 3 years. Carroll and Smith made one trip to the playoffs together before the Seattle Seahawks fired Carroll, so they have unfinished business. Smith is really Carroll's guy. He believes in Smith. Carroll is Smith's guy too, as he became uninterested in re-signing with the Seattle Seahawks once Carroll became the head coach of the Raiders. Smith even asked to be traded to the Raiders, and now that he is reunited with Carroll, he gives the Raiders a chance to win a few games and do some things. Behind Smith will be Aiden O'Connell, you know who he is, and behind him will be 6th round pick Cam Miller. Now all of a sudden the Raiders quarterback room looks like the quarterback room of a team that could actually go somewhere. There was a minute that the Raiders thought running back Ashton Genty wasn't going to be there, but they knew they wanted him. They didn't even try to hide it. All Carroll talked about is running the ball and playing defense this offseason, so we should have known Genty would be the pick if he was there. It seems like the stars lined up for the Raiders to draft the next superstar running back this offseason. The Raiders lost Josh Jacobs last offseason, and Carroll's a big believer in running the ball. So the Raiders got the best player on this draft at a position of need. Did any of you guys see Steve Wisniewski sprint to the podium to make that pick? I didn't see it myself, but he should have. Those of you that are on that don't get a running back in the first round crap need to go on with that. When the best player on the board is at a need and fits the identity of your team, you take him every time and twice on Sunday. This is the way Carroll knows how to play, so we got his beast mode too to go with this quarterback that can throw deep when the defense puts 8 in the box. This is exactly what he had in his championship years in Seattle. Somebody give me a good reason why he wouldn't try to recreate that here in Las Vegas. Whether if the Raiders need a number 1 receiver or not depends on who you ask. Some think Jacoby Myers is him and others don't. Then there's Mr. Trey Tucker on the other side, and there are mixed opinions on him. Tight end Brock Bowers is a real number 1, but the Raiders had to address the receiver position, and they did. After not addressing the position in free agency, they went big on it in the draft. Pete Carroll likes big receivers that can block in the run game, so he got a couple of them. He got Jack Besh, a possession receiver that blocks well in round 2. Then he got Dante Thornton, a fast DK Metcalf type in round 4. In round 6, Director of College Scouting Brandon Yergin, formerly of the New England Patriots, found another Julian Edelman type. The Raiders picked Tommy Mellott, a college quarterback with plans to move in the slot receiver. He ran a 4.39 40 and turned in a 41-inch vertical lead. That's a big physical possession outside receiver, a big physical fast deep threat outside receiver, and a fast slot receiver they got in this draft. This is a deep receiver core with competition now. And of course there's a tight end position that starts with Bowers, whom I've already mentioned. After just 1 year, he's already certified, qualified, and bona fide. In that 1 year, he caught 112 passes for 1,195 yards and 5 touchdowns. There are all kinds of rookie records and tight end records involved too. He was rated high as a prospect, so we knew he'd be good, but no one thought he'd be this good this soon. He's a little too light to fight and too thin to win at the line of scrimmage, so he's an H-back move tight end, so the Raiders still have Michael Mayer. Mayer's a true tight end, as he's big enough to win at the line of scrimmage. He's a really good receiver too. That part of his game doesn't even get close to the shine and skill warrants though, because Bowers overshadows him in that department. Hopefully there's some room in the Raider offense to sneak a few passes Myers' way this year. The Raiders added Ian Thomas earlier this offseason and Kadir Ismail a few days ago. The tight end room looks pretty stacked now with blocking tight ends, pass catching tight ends, and guys that do both. But of course Bowers is the one we want to see. Now we go to the offensive line. You could tell from what Spytek said about the offensive line at the beginning of the offseason that he didn't think it needed an overhaul. So they kept offensive line coach Joe Philbin, but they cut center Andre James so Jackson Powers Johnson could do his thing at center now. At right guard will be Alex Kappa, whom Spytek just brought in this offseason. Yeah, Kappa in his days with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At right tackle, it'll be either DJ Glaze, Thayer Munford, or third-round pick Charles Grant. I think Glaze is a guard and was drafted in part for his ability to play guard, but Munford got hurt, so he was thrown in there at right tackle. He could end up at left guard, where it comes down to him, Jordan Meredith, and third-round pick Caleb Rogers. Rogers and Kappa have some similarities. They're around the same size at 312 pounds and have shorter arms. They both played tackle in college too. Spytek moved Kappa to guard at Tampa Bay, and he's moving Rogers there now. And of course, Colton Miller to be the left tackle. It's funny how he showed up to voluntary workouts right after the draft. Who got fooled by that? On defense, the Raiders are led in the trenches by edge rusher Max Crosby and interior defensive lineman Christian Wilkins. Rumors of Wilkins missing time with a foot injury that cost him a lot of last year are just that, rumors. He's been participating in OTAs, so don't believe any of that. The Raiders have fellow edge rusher Malcolm Kuntz, who racked up 8 sacks the second half of 2023 before missing last year with a knee injury coming back. Interior defense lineman Adam Butler will be back too, so that pass rush will be ready. The Raiders have added Leki Fotu to replace Chris Jenkins as the team's run stuffer. 2023 first-round pick Tyree Wilson will give the Raiders that extra depth with his ability to play inside and out, but they still needed depth. So they got Tonka Hemingway, a tweener like Wilson, and interior defense lineman J.J. Pegues in the 4th round. The Raiders lost Kaylavon Chase on their free agency, so they need a little more edge rusher depth. That's why I like undrafted free agent Jaw Joyner's chances of making the team. At 6'4", 260 pounds, running a 4.6 40, defensive line coach Rob Leonard could get something out of him, right? At linebacker, the Raiders are on the same exact level they were on last year. They lost 2 starters, but they were able to replace them in free agency. Robert Spillane was replaced by Elandon Roberts at the Mike, which is a lateral move without having to pay all that money. Some like to talk about Robert's shortcomings in coverage, but guess what? Spillane isn't a coverage whiz either. Devin White is there to replace Divine Diablo at the will. That's another lateral move. Neither one of them have been great against the run or in coverage. Both are good at blitzing, but White is superior in that area. As a matter of fact, White's superior to all off-the-ball linebackers in blitzing and rushing the passer. He has a 9-sack season to his name and made All-Pro because of it. But one guy I'm really interested in seeing if he can take the will spot is Mari Burney. He showed some promise in limited reps last year. If he makes that big jump to year 2, it could be hard to take him off the field. It sounds like Spytek loves him some White though, so we'll see. Otherwise, the Raiders look very similar to what they did last year at linebacker. I'm actually excited to see the secondary this year. I love strong safety Trayvon Merrick and hate to see him go, but Jeremy Chin is cheaper and fits the Cam Chancellor role in this defense. He's a bigger hitter. I can't wait to see free safety Isaiah Polomao and corner Jacorian Bennett, who was breaking out before his injury last year. Darnay Holmes played on the same level as Nate Hobbs did in his stead last year when he was injured. Now he gets a chance to see if he could do that permanently. The Raiders addressed the outside corner position in free agency and the draft this offseason because they needed someone to replace Jack Jones. They got Green Bay Packers 2021 first-round pick Eric Stokes in free agency and Darian Porter in the 3rd round of the draft. Stokes is 6'1", 195 pounds with 32 3/4 inch long arms. Porter is 6'3", 195 pounds with 33 1/8 inch long arms. Both of them have blazing 4.3 wheels, and of course Stokes has experience on his side, while Porter has youth on his side. Porter reminds Carroll of Richard Sherman, so if it's close, you know how it's gonna go. Man, the Raiders have some players now. I'm not saying this is a Super Bowl roster, but it's a whole lot better than it has been the last few years. Even the media knows it. The Raiders got high marks for their free agency and they got high marks for their draft. The biggest thing is the Raiders have a quarterback. You don't have one of those, you don't have a chance. But they got that in free agency and a superstar running back from the draft. Those guys and the receivers they drafted should mix well with Bowers. The offensive line's better than you think too. On defense, they're healthy now. And Carroll got a corner and a safety that fit what he likes to do. And I can't wait to see it all. Thank you for watching. See you next time.